I was going to ask you, do you have a favorite book from Mom's bookshelf?
Right. You know what? Here's the problem with trauma is I haven't really looked
Mm,
through it in a
fair.
while.
Fair.
And it's not a big deal. I mean, where do you start? I don't know if
I
you can tell, but this is layers deep. So I wouldn't even know where to start, but I do know, and we're going to tackle some Alice Hoffman because, fun fact, my mom, who obviously was a huge reader, she loved Alice Hoffman, and she saved all of Alice Hoffman's books for the most part because she wanted to read them when she was a little old lady. Now, unfortunately, my mom, like every mom in all of the books we've chosen, is not with us anymore. So I want
Mm.
to read them. So we're going to pick some Alice Hoffman books to read.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait for that. That is going
Yeah.
to be so special. And how special
Mm.
that you're able to sit right in front of it and run
Yeah.
book club. And oh my gosh, it makes my heart so happy. Speaking of book club, have you heard that Jeremiah from Love Island is starting a book club?
What do the kids do now? They do this?
Oh, is this a thing? Is this a
Yeah.
thing? This man went from 44 followers on TikTok to over 1 million, and he's out here reading Ryan Holiday and talking personal growth. And I'm like, okay, we love an emotionally developed king. Am I right?
Can I just say something about Jeremiah? I don't know if it's a popular opinion, but as somebody who's dated plenty of narcissists and can pick them out, I don't get narcissists from him.
No.
And if you look at some of his older pictures, which the internet has unearthed for us, he was kind of a nerd who just became hot.
Those were the vibes I was getting because he is quite young, and I think he was just super into anime and reading, and he just like
I
was
love
doing
it.
his little thing, and now
I
he's
love
grown
it.
into himself, and I'm
Yeah.
like, so are we joining his book club or what?
We need to get him on the show, that's for sure. Are you really a reader? You bought that life?
Come on, bro.
You bought that life?
Welcome, everyone, to a novel bunch. This is your modern day book club where two besties are reading the same book at the same time. This is our second episode of us discussing Nora Goes Off Script by the amazing Annabel Monaghan. And this week we are going to be covering chapters 6 through 11.
Yes.
So if you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. And if you're listening on a platform like iTunes or Audible and you're loving the vibes, leave us a little review. It helps us to reach our amazing book talk community. We love you all so much. And again, this is a book club podcast, so we are not having any spoilers. We are reading as we go. If you're enjoying it, share with your bestie and we all can read along together. The more the merrier.
I love that.
So why don't we start with chapter 6?
Okay, I would love to. I would also love to say that this writer, Annabel Monaghan, I am obsessed. Her, and we'll get into this more, but like I relate to this world as somebody that's dated actors and is an actor. I understand both sides of this, spectrum, and the dialogue that's going on in Nora's head is very is very similar to the dialogue that goes on in my head. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but she is writing a fully formed, powerful woman who is allowed herself to be vulnerable with another person for the first time, truly, even pre-Ben, because I don't think she really let herself be super vulnerable around him. She seemed pretty checked out because he was pretty checked out. So I
Yeah.
think, and she's just absolutely killing it.
Absolutely killing it. And like you said in your notes, there's so many similarities that it is very much Euphoria. Is this play about us?
Yeah. Is this a play about me?
Molly Burnett, is this your autobiography?
It might be.
The author is absolutely crushing. We are loving every second of it.
Beautiful, beautiful. The first note that I wrote for chapter 6 is, Leo is not up for the sunrise. Nora doesn't like it. She says, I'm getting used to him following me around. And I said, girl, you just need a dog. Eloise is right here. She
Oh,
follows
hi,
me
Ellie.
around like a little, and it makes me feel very satisfied.
Like, she wants me.
Exactly.
I'm so loved.
Yeah. But we learned that Nora is from Chesterville, which is a divided
Mhm.
town. We start to get a little bit of insight into Nora and where she comes from. And there's there's up the hill and down the hill. And up the hill is very affluent, very fancy. And down the hill is more the working class. That's where Nora's from. Also, her sister Penny, they're obviously both from there, as in they're in a family. But Penny has aspirations to go up the hill, and Nora's happy with her reality. And there's a lot of people that are. Listen, I'm all for trying to go out and achieve as much as you can. I'm currently in that uphill battle, but there are people that are just happy to, as my dad says, we're all just ants moving a crumb from one side of the street to the other.
Yes.
And that's Nora. She's just a bad bitch, single mom out here just being a fantastic parent and doing everything, which most women have to do. And that's the very typical female experience.
Yep. Well, Ben very much, he was the uphill guy and he had that attitude and that air about him, but it didn't really match what he was bringing to the table, which, that drives me crazy. The fact that he would blame everything on her, like every project he had that didn't work, he would blame it on her. And she would take it and go, oh yeah, you're right. It's my fault, because she just didn't want to grow too big because she knew that that was going to affect their relationship. And that's so awful.
Tell me you have an insecure husband without telling me you have an insecure husband, because nothing fucking grinds my gears more than somebody who has all these grand ideas and absolutely zero work ethic.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Or they just every day keep coming with a new one. And it's like the hardest part about making anything successful is continuously doing it over and over. The monotony of how freaking boring and the same thing time after time. But that is how you make things grow. What does that mean? Where did you see that?
I think it's everywhere. Everybody's doing it. It's like at a poetry read, people are like, yes. Well, our generation, millennials, we just be like, yes. Now, like Gen Z has been like,
they just do the little finger, like, I love that. Yes, go off, queen. So you have the quote of the week, which I want you to dive into. This is so your jam, but it is funny because we did talk about this previously in a past podcast, which I just love that. I was like, ooh.
It's my favorite. One thing that Annabel Monaghan does often is she equates to these very complex scientific terms in her book in a really fun, flirty way. And I'm just, this author is a woman after my own heart, right? Like Dirty Book Club, science, mix them together, it's the best. So my quote of the week: Newton, as in Isaac Newton, right, scientist, Newton must have been thinking of 20-somethings in long-term relationships with hard-to-secure wedding venues when he decided that objects in motion stay in motion. Now, what she's referring to is the unwillingness to leave Ben while planning their wedding, because I think a lot of people, when everything is ready to go and the marriage is about to happen, even if you're having second thoughts, you're going to do it anyway, right? And this is predicated on Newton's first law of motion, which states that an object will stay at rest or keep moving at a constant velocity in a straight line unless acted upon by an unbalanced external force. The tendency of an object to resist changes in its motion is called inertia. So it's not very often that when a wedding is getting planned, even if it shouldn't be going forward, there's no inertia that's going to come into play. That wedding is in motion and it's going to happen, even if it's a divorce later on. And I just love that she threw that in there. What a fun little geeky thing.
Well, have you ever found yourself in a relationship that kind of equates to this, where you're already in motion and you're going and maybe you should be ending it, but you don't because you're like, I've been in this, I've put in a lot of time? Or are you someone who just cuts it off real quick when you're like, nah?
I mean, I think you know the answer, but I love you set me up for that. I stay too long.
It's okay. We can change you. Not you, but him.
I'm getting better about it in therapy. Yeah, I'll change him. He says, I'm a home for wayward, broken dogs, which my mom was too. So that's genetic. I blame it on her.
Yeah.
Although my dad was not a wayward dog. He was a strong, wonderful man who, can I just show you a picture of him? This is my dad.
Stop.
Little
stud Papa B. Oh my God, look at the hands. That is so freaking cute. I love Papa B. So cute. Isn't it fun to be home and you like find little things? And
I love it. I love it. I love finding pictures everywhere.
The best. The absolute
Yes.
best.
Yes.
Was that your childhood home? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
Ugh.
changed a lot. You know, after my
Yeah.
mom passed away, my dad did like he kept her essence, which was really beautiful, but
Sure.
he made it his, which he should, you
Mm-hmm.
know? If you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna stay in the same place, you got to figure out how to make it yours so that you're not
Yeah.
living in whatever. So yeah, this is my little family.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. So sweet. Back to Ben.
Right. And I said in my notes, Ben is a selfish little shit. Unsupportive, spoiled, doesn't ask questions, obsessed with being right, no job, straight up left Nora and their kids.
He literally ghosted them and refused to help. That is so bad. And there's so many red flags I feel that we heard from the beginning of her explaining how she met him, how he was in real life. And from what we know so far, what do you think were Ben's biggest flaws as a partner?
He's not curious about her or
Mm,
anything. I think
mm,
curiosity is such a gift that we can give
mhm.
ourselves as we grow older, and our brain and our body wants us to stop being curious. Things get bigger, we get slower, things get scarier, technology is moving fast, and it's so important to stay curious about one, your partner so they feel seen and heard and loved, and
Yep.
also the world so you don't become an angry old boomer in your, in your basement.
Yep.
Like my biggest beef with him is with Ben. I almost said Leo because I love Leo. I love Leo so
Leo, Leo, Leo. He's the best book boyfriend. We love him.
yeah, I hate Ben. I hate that he's not curious about her. That's my biggest beef. Is listen, if you want to have ideas and try and make things happen for yourself, I hate that you have zero follow through, but like at least you're trying. But he just doesn't give a shit about her. And he
Mm-mm.
belittles her and he makes fun of her in front of her friends and her family. And I just
Yeah.
ugh, what do you hate the most about him?
I think for me, being in a committed relationship with children and
Mm,
being able to just walk away from the children like that is diabolical to me.
mm,
Like, he is well bodied, abled, he could make it work, you know? And his kids aren't, they're not babies, they're not infants, they're grown where you've built relationships, they know who you are. And I just don't understand how he could just leave like that and kind of keep them guessing, you know? Because
yeah.
later on, you learn some things where he calls a lot to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to come see you." And then he never does,
Yeah.
right? But it's like,
Yeah.
it's not just her that's in the mix. I mean, she's obviously so over it, was ready to move on, very happy to break up with him and leave him. But the kids, like, those are the most precious little souls. I just, that for me, it's an absolute no, bro.
Tough.
Yeah,
Tough.
real tough. And then we have Leo on the other hand, and he is a fan of doing things with Nora. He is a fan of the cheeky banter, which I love. And
Mm,
it's so funny in your notes, you were like, what was the see-through dress? And in the very beginning of the book, like I think the first night that they met, she was with her kids upstairs and she didn't know, I don't believe, that he was staying out there. And she was in the see-through gown, nightie. And the next morning she comes down to have her coffee and he's sitting there and he made a comment about it and she never wore it again because she was just so mortified.
that's
But this
right.
guy, he's all about the banter. And I think
Mm.
that's so fun because she obviously never got that with Ben.
Oh.
And it feels obviously flirty, but it feels almost very much like you're building a bond, a friendship on top of everything because you're having fun with one another, you know?
Yes.
That's so I love that about him.
Can I just be the bearer of bad news? Because I have a bad
Uh-oh.
feeling.
You have a bad feeling?
I have a bad feeling. When you bond, and maybe it's my own trauma, I could be totally wrong, but when
Yeah.
you bond with somebody this quickly and they're this
Mhm.
obsessed with your life and what you do, and she's not in his world at all, he's in hers. So it's really, really easy for people who not prey on, because that's not the right word. This is not always everybody's fault. Personality disorders aren't necessarily your fault, but
Mhm.
I'm very hesitant with this famous, unbelievably charismatic actor following this woman around like a puppy without a care in the world, because it's doing too much too quickly.
Yeah. Well, I feel too, he's someone who it seems is very much able to live in the moment because he doesn't really have any stresses, you know, that should be a beautiful thing, right? To be able to live in the moment, but he's not worried about money. It doesn't seem like he's got any major things happening yet,
Right.
but you
And it's not
know,
that he's not stressed. It's just when you're an actor and you're not filming, you're not stressed. I
Yep.
mean, you're stressed trying to get another
Yeah.
job, but like you get to do that. One cool thing about being an actor and dating an actor. One, there's only a few cool things about that. But one cool thing about being an actor and dating an actor is if you both aren't working, you get to do whatever you want. You can have a picnic in the middle of the day. You can, because if you've made money and you've saved it, now you get to, and if you're smart, you're creating stuff and you're building opportunities and stuff. But he's a super, super duper, super movie star, right? Like he's DiCaprio or
Mhm.
something. So he has nothing to do. He's got money in the bank and he obviously needs a reset. So he's getting this really beautiful, sweet home Alabama kind of,
Yeah.
reset, which
Yep.
is wonderful. But this is Nora's life. This isn't a fun reset. And that's where I'm nervous.
We'll see what happens, but at this point, she is loving this because she hasn't had this. She was used to Ben, who just didn't really give her anything. This is fun, new, exciting. She's living in a small town. How could you not, as Nora, just kind of have like starry eyes and be like, well, this is like kind of fun,
Of course, even if he wasn't a super famous movie star, like those chemicals are strong and that is fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
love
course.
it.
The best. So they're having a blast. Chapter 7 begins. Leo's brought cupcakes and wine to the house. I mean, this man understood the assignment.
Thank you.
Right?
The kids are into it. They're enjoying their
Yes.
cupcakes. Arthur, obviously, he's going to play Fagin in Oliver Twist, and he's worried about his lines, and Nora's trying, and she cannot act, which, love. And Leo goes, I'll help Arthur, and they're starting to bond. Arthur gets all of his lines down. They decide to watch one of Nora's movies together. Like, this is the dream, right? Like,
Mhm.
if I'm Nora, I've been in a situation like this where you're like, this man is everything I could have ever hoped
Yeah.
for. And God, I just think it's my trauma, but what I'm worried about is he's just mirroring what she wants to see. I have to stop thinking about that because I want to just enjoy this book and like disassociate
Yeah.
with my own stuff because she's so happy. He's super happy. The kids are super excited. I can't imagine how hard it is to introduce somebody you're dating to your children. You have to really decide.
Yeah. Of
Um,
course. And I
yeah.
find it refreshing too that he is building these relationships with the kids as well, just because it's very much a big part of her life. It's where he's staying. And you don't always see that in stories. I feel this
Yeah.
is a really unique take on it of her being a single mom and then having this big movie star who's just, moving in. And it's kind of crazy, but they all decided, hey, let's get on this ride together and,
Yeah.
see where it goes.
I
Yeah.
love that Nora is the butt of many jokes in the town, right? Because
Yeah.
Ben and everything, and they're mean girls in this town and all kinds of brouhaha. So I love that she's parading this fucking fine ass superstar around.
Heck yeah. Everyone is looking at her like, oh my gosh.
They're
And she
losing their
goes,
minds. And I
yeah.
love it. I love it
Yeah.
for her.
And if anything, I love that she's just getting this moment of carefree fun because she has not had that at all. The next morning, Leo's waiting for her on the bench with an extra coffee mug. I'm like, you
Mhm.
still my beating heart. That's so
I
sweet.
know.
Like, look at the difference. I'm over here just like eating it all up every minute. And you're like, I don't trust it. I don't trust it.
Something's wrong.
But even if something, because obviously it's a book, nothing
Right.
can be perfect or why would we read it? But it's like, I just indulge in the good moments.
Oh, me
And
too.
maybe that's just, like, I very much am someone who lives in the moment. That
Yeah,
is
me too.
how I can't help myself. And even Freddie and I talk about that all the time. I'm always like, we got to get you to live in the moment because he's always thinking about what's
Right.
coming next. We're
Right.
just wired a little bit differently. And
Yeah.
I feel like when I read this and it is good, like the good times are so sweet. And I'm like, let me just hold on to it. So I'm savoring it and I'm loving
Yeah.
everything that I'm reading right now. Like, I think I just love Leo. I love
Yeah.
him so much.
You know what helped me really learn how to live in the moment? Lexapro.
You've had a few mic drops in this pod where you always drink your fucking Celsius right after.
Shout out my SSRI girlies because helping us live in
Get
the
her done,
moment.
baby. No, I love that. I love that. And Leo, speaking of maybe opening up, feeling good, living in the moment, he does open up about his family to Nora and how his brother and him used to share everything. And now life is all about him. And this was really interesting. He said to Nora, you live for your kids and they live for you. There's something almost sacred about what you have. In my life, I live for my career and all the people around me are paid to live for my career. So, for you, working in the industry your whole adult life, obviously he's like Brad Pitt status. I'm curious if you have had instances where maybe you've questioned people's intentions, whatever it might be, with just working with them on set just because, you had credits, or if you ever felt weird about that, if you ever felt people were treating you differently, if that's ever happened to you.
I don't think so yet. I'm so grateful to be a working actor that when I come to set, I'm just so happy to be there.
Yeah.
And there's no real air of like anything other than I'm just fucking stoked to be here. And I want to
Yeah.
learn everybody's name because everybody's an integral part of making a film or a TV show. And
Right.
so I don't think I can't relate to that. But I have many friends who are huge entities and everybody around them are, for lack of a better terminology, yes men.
That's what I obviously very much am feeling from Leo, what he's saying. And I think that can be such a unique position to find yourself in.
One thing, I was obsessed with Nora walking around the school with Leo, where she's been getting bullied and picked on by all the mean moms. And
Yes.
just
Wait,
I'm
before we
looking,
get there, though, hold that thought, because there's something leading into it that was my favorite part that you didn't mention that I just have to mention. Before they go to Arthur's school, Nora comes down the stairs and she's in a dress. And Leo looks at her and he goes, "Legs." And I go, "Oh my gosh." Like, he probably said it so much cuter, but I
I don't know, that was pretty cute.
thanks, girl. This was just the cutest little banter that he has. Like, the things he says to her, I feel like she's never had someone flirt with her like that. And he gives these subtle sentences and sayings that he's like, "What's up, girl? Legs.
I love it. Swag. Crazy swag.
Where's your see-through gown, girl?" Like, I don't know. Well, then they go to the school, and were you dying when she was walking around with this movie star to all these little?
Just like the bad bitch she is.
Yes,
I love Nora. I think she's such a powerhouse. I'm so obsessed with this character.
I am too. Okay, really quick, who would you cast in a movie for Nora and Leo if you had to?
Well, obviously I'd cast myself as Nora.
Yes, yes.
I'm
But
37. Perfect.
It's actually perfect. Oh my gosh. No, I love that. Okay, so you're Nora.
Okay,
How
great.
So who's gonna be Leo?
Hmm.
Let's see.
Idris Elba.
Oh. What do you do here? I love that. I freaking love that. Match made in heaven. Let's freaking go.
No, it would need to be like a Austin Butler. It needs to have this
that
like
vibe. Who's Theo, the guy from White Lotus? Theo, what is his last name?
James.
Theo James. Okay.
Yes.
The thing why I think he would be amazing is he's got such a good brooding stare, and I could see him giving those like to everyone and having different ones, and he's got that like leading man energy. He's the right age, and I think he would be so perfect.
Couldn't agree more. Theo James. And if we're going for somebody that obviously isn't myself, which why would we do that? But if we have to, I'd maybe throw Megan Fahey in.
Oh,
there. I think she would kill it.
She would kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't think of that. You know who else who I wouldn't mind? And I love her dry, witty humor. And I feel like she could dig into this is Dakota Johnson. There's just something about her that's very quirky and different. And I feel like Nora's very quirky and different. And I think she could bring that. But I like our casting.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, you Avi number one.
Of course. But if I'm unavailable, then
if you're on another project, fine, guys. Okay, now I'm going to think about that when I read. Obsessed.
Great.
Obsessed.
First of all, Leo is smoldering at everybody at the school. Love. But Nora, interesting. She asked him why, and he said, "I don't know."
Interesting.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like it's because he can truly be himself with her.
Yeah. One thing I do understand, I am nowhere near Leo's level of notoriety, but I have a personality when I'm on in front of people, and when I'm just like shooting the shit with you before we start recording.
Of course.
Those are two different Mollys. So it's kind of cool that Leo feels comfortable enough to not be his movie star self, because you see him be that when he's talking to Nora's friends and Nora's friends'
Yeah.
husbands, and he can
Yeah.
turn that charisma on like that, right?
Yep. Yep.
Pretty much all working actors can do that,
Yeah. I mean, you
right?
have to. It's part of the gig. And it makes me feel too like he's also actually seeing her in a sense because this is new for him. He's never had someone, I feel, from what I'm reading, that he could just be himself with, like you explain. And even with her, I think she's just being so open and herself because she really does not give enough. She's
No.
gone through it.
Yeah.
She's lived and she's just like, look, man, like
Mm.
whatever. Like
Mm.
we're gonna rock this out as we go, you know?
So true. So freaking true. Okay, so now Leo is with Mrs. Sasaki, the theater teacher,
Yes.
who is in love with him, duh.
Obvi.
And she offers Arthur a performance note, if you will. And
Okay.
Arthur looks at Leo, and Leo actually says, "You did a great job, champ," and contradicts Mrs. Sasaki,
Ooh.
and says that Arthur had the right choice. And my little black dark heart melted just a touch, which must be why I get myself into trouble.
You're like, ooh, I like that. Well, and it was killing me how she's like, oh, that was such a good idea, Leo. Okay, baby.
Listen, I can't pretend like I wouldn't have done the same thing.
And then we pop into chapter 8, and Leo gets them a bunch of pizza, cannolis, nice wine. Arthur is much more confident. Then he asks about Leo's last night. So Arthur, he is just more confident and he asks Leo about his last night. Leo says he's been offered a job as co-director of Oliver Twist and promised to stay until opening night, which is 3 weeks away. Yes!
3 weeks away.
And
Love
Leo,
it.
he opens up a bottle of wine and asks Nora to join him. I love that they're like having wine every night. Like they're just living their best life with.
And this is the problem with dating an actor that isn't working, is every night gets to be a dream fantasy. And if you are not an actor and you don't understand that one day, out of nowhere, this is going to end because you
Yes.
have to go to
Yes.
Thailand to film for
Yes.
6 months, then you are going to have the rug ripped out from underneath you. So that's what I keep bracing myself for, because I am living for all of this sweet, wonderful chit chat, back and forth, sarcasm, fun.
Yeah.
Even if she does just get a little glimpse of this fun, flirty, chemical filled life, I think it will
Yeah.
have been worth it, because what a magical. I remember one time I was dating this guy. I was like, the sex is so good. And she's like, enjoy that. My understanding is that she was also a home for wayward, broken idiots before she met my father. So,
How did they meet?
this is so cool. So they were both on business trips. My mom was a bad bitch writer. She wrote speeches for Ted Kennedy, just brilliant, brilliant. And my dad is in the oil and gas industry. So they were both in New York City at the Roosevelt Hotel. And my dad said he was going up the escalator and my mom was going down the escalator in this stunning red dress. And he just looked at her like, oh my God. And he was just upset. Now my dad was kind of a goofball. So like he would never have said anything. But later that night, his friends and his friends' friends went to a hotel room to hang out, and she was there.
Stop.
And they were all smoking a cigar. And my dad, who's never smoked anything a day in his life,
He's
and
there
never
like
said
that
anything-
from the photo.
I know this is shocking, but my dad has never smoked a thing in his life. He was trying to light the cigar and trying to be cool, and my mom was watching him like, oh my God. She's like, fuck it, give me this. And she takes the cigar and she fucking lights it up and just starts smoking the cigar like a bad bitch. And he's like, that was it.
He goes, I'm going to
But
marry
then
you.
he didn't see her for a while, and then they re-met in Colorado where they both lived. So they met in New York City, and then
That's pretty wild. Yeah, it was meant
know.
to be. Red string theory. Obsessed.
love
Don't
it.
get me started.
Come
Don't
on,
get me
science.
started. Yes. I love it. You know, people met in such cool ways back in the day.
I'm so
It was,
jealous.
I know. You know, literally, my mom was getting a pizza at this restaurant in Arizona, and she just came in after her little workout. So she had on her cute little shorts, tight
Come
little
on, Val.
top. Yeah, you know it. And my dad, he was there and he was working there, and he got her number from the check she paid with.
Rick, you dog.
And so this older man, like 9 years her senior, is like, I'm gonna give this cutie a little call. And then the rest is history. So I'm just saying, such adorable meet cutes back in the day. Like when you were telling me the elevators and the meeting, it's crazy.
I know. Well, and now you look at current day, and Charlize Theron was just
Mm.
on Call Her Daddy. I'm obsessed with Charlize Theron, and I'm
Me
obsessed with
too.
Alex Cooper, as you guys know. I'm obsessed.
Yes.
And Charlize Theron was talking about how she's on Raya, which I'm on Raya too, and I fucking hate it. And she's like, it's miserable. No one responds to anything. Nobody's actually does what they say they do in their bios. Like it's just like an ego hit for all these people. And am I old school? Should the man not reach out to the woman first?
Yes.
I don't want to
Yes.
like be anti what like women and men are equal and all that stuff, but like there's still this masculine feminine dichotomy here that should be at play. Like if we match, you should say
Man
hi
should.
first.
Yeah. Traditional. You know, when I was at the GLAAD Awards, maybe this is like 10, 12 years ago, Charlize Theron walks into the lobby area. And I mean, she is just ready to go in her dress. She is strutting, like
Goddess.
giving her best walk. And I literally passed her and I go, "You're a hot bitch." She literally was cracking up. But it's like one of the best moments of my life because it's like, someone had to tell you. Might as well be me. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Love it.
I've always loved her. So watching her say all this stuff, the fact that she's on that app, I'm like,
oh my God, you know who would be a great Nora is her. And here's why. She's way too hot to be a Nora. But we all saw her in Monster. Like, she's adaptable.
Yeah.
But she herself, she's 50. She also jokes about how she just fucked a 26-year-old. And she was
Love
like,
that for
I
her.
get it now. I
like,
love
"All
her so
right,
much.
All right, older men, you keep going for the young girls.
bye.
I get it
We're
now."
going lower, like you guys do. We're just going to emulate what y'all do.
Yeah.
Which is funny, as women get more power and notoriety and they're in more rooms, some of them are starting to fuck younger dudes, just like men have been doing for ages. I say all that to say, Charlize is a single mom of 3. She's adopted 3, I believe it's 3.
Yeah.
We'll fact check that. But 3 adorable little kiddos, and she gives Nora energy. Like, now it would be tough because she's a movie star, so you wouldn't be able to separate.
Fully get into it.
You couldn't cast her,
Yeah,
but
no.
in IRL, she's kind of like a Nora energy of like, I'm just a single mom out here just being a bad bitch and living my life.
Oh, I love her. I've been such a fan of her for so long. So I have to read, or I have to watch that pod. But back to this chapter, when they're having wine, Leo asks her if he should quit acting and says he enjoys doing this with Nora. And she says to him, like, "You'll get sick of this." And then he asks if she's gotten sick of it yet. And she says no.
No, bitch, because they're her kids, though. I'm sorry, and not to be the bearer of bad news, but this is another big fat red flag for me.
Yeah.
When somebody gives up their life, in theory, or they say, "This is so, should I quit?" Blah. Any massive life decisions in the first 2 weeks, you're getting love bombed.
Absolutely. I feel like this is my number one thing that I talk to any of my girlfriends dating that has just always been a red flag for me. If someone's ready to just end their whole life or change their whole life, or they just want to see you every day. I mean, I get it in the beginning, your excitement, but if you don't have a life happening and commitments and things you're doing, it's like, what are you trying to build? Because you haven't built anything on your own. How can you?
Well, he's mirroring her. So this is her life, and he's showing, "Ooh, hey, I would love to live this life too." So now she gets to go live in La La Land and have this magical dream, knowing that Hollywood could call at any second, and Marvel will offer him a movie, and he'll be off.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so anxious and nervous.
Well, we also find out that he has watched all of her Christmas movies, the Romance Channel movies, which...
And why is that?
Because his mom loved them. It was a thing he did with his mom, and his mom loved the love stories. And I forgot, what was it that he loved about them? The sets, maybe, or the snow? I can't remember.
I actually don't remember what he loved about them. I thought he just was into it because
He was.
watching.
Yeah, but he said that his mom loved watching young people fall in love, and there was something he liked, but I do not
Of course
recall.
you picked up on that. I'm too triggered right now. Like, he's love bombing our girl. And you're like, oh, he loves love most.
No, it's so cute. And then I'm thinking, for me, I am such a Christmas in July kind of girly. Are you?
Like, the second Halloween is over, it's decoration and Christmas music time.
But right now, I'm like juggling Summerween, which is early Halloween stuff happening. Like I'm watching the movies. Do you not know about this?
What the fuck is Summerween?
Summer
Sounds like something very different. I think I like some Summerween.
You stop with the dirty book club, damn it. She'll see herself out.
I'll
We
see
need
myself
one.
out.
It's been a minute.
I know, I haven't seen myself out in quite some time.
You've been very well behaved. But no, Summerween is when you listen to some of the Halloween stuff early, watch the movies, maybe do like just some cute little fall stuff. And then Christmas in July starts the early Christmas. And I'm over here in Florida in the hot humidity, melting my life away, pretending I'm somewhere in the snow. You know, it just balance, right?
Great.
So we love that. But let's get into chapter 9.
Yes.
Leo is staying.
He's now going to Burnette's soccer game. This was hilarious because this reminds me of me, not in an athletic way, because your girl was not very athletic growing up. But which is ironic that I'm as big of a football fan. People are always like, "Oh my god, were you good at sports?" I was like, "No, I was on the beach debate team." I digress. She said Burnett is very intense, like a little fucking scoundrel, and that she's unusually aggressive for a little girl on the field. It's giving Caitlin Clark, and I'm fucking here for it.
Yes.
And that maybe she needs a private coach. So, but here in Nora will hear he is planning a future with us. He's gonna, a private coach for my daughter, and how magical is this? And I could live like this forever because once again, he doesn't have a job right now, so he gets to pour his whole self into her.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Well, so he's doing all of this, and then he finds out the kids are going to be busy on Saturday, right? And he's like, well, Nora, what are you doing Saturday night? All the kids are out. Can I take you to dinner? And they go to dinner. They're having a blast. He asks so many questions about her life and her kids. Love the effort. And then they play this really cute game of him naming kind of a character, like a few things about a character, and she has to come up with a scenario because obviously like she's a writer and she gives the plot. So cute. And she gets a lot of stuff done, but she says in her experience it's not the kind of thing that men find irresistible. And Leo says, I do. You should go home.
Give it to me.
Swoon City. And then they're back at her house, and he's close enough that if he took a half a step forward, he could kiss me, is what she says. It's dark in the room that they're in. Like, no one's turned the lights on yet.
So I just want to dive in here real quick because we have a quantum mechanics reference. Once again, Annabel Monaghan is giving us science goobers all of the good content. So this is a little bit of a complicated theory here, but it's called Schrodinger's box, and it's the theory that the cat that is in the box is both alive and dead. I'm not going to go into it. It's too complicated. But the TV show that one of my girls, Alyssa Braga, is one of the leads of, Dark Matter, is all about Schrodinger's box. So shout out Dark Matter. I believe it's on Apple. Plus, and she kills it. It's fantastic. Anyway, so I said in our notes, Annabel's way of equating a situation to a science theory is just fantastic. So when Nora wants to sit in the in-between of kissing Leo and not kissing Leo, it's that like moment right before, like that where all the tension is building up, just like you love. Annabel refers to it as the Schrodinger's cat of kisses. And Schrodinger's cat is a famous thought experiment in quantum mechanics that illustrates the concept of superposition. It involves a hypothetical cat in a sealed box with a device that has a 50% chance of releasing a poison. Until the box is open and observed, the cat is considered to be in superposition of both alive and dead states simultaneously, because you don't know whether it's alive or dead, which means that both outcomes are possible. So in her kissing scenario, she's standing here with Leo, and she could both kiss him or not kiss him. So this is the Schrodinger's cat of kisses, and I love mic drop.
Beautiful. Literally zero fat. It's so good.
I know.
It's so good. This writer's so good. Annabelle, we love you. You're just crushing. Crushing.
I know.
So smart. Such smart writing, and I appreciate that.
Brilliant. Such smart writing.
And I appreciate that more than anything. I'm like,
too.
Yes. Don't you love when you read something like that and you go, I'll stop for a minute and go, like almost go back to reread because I appreciate it so much.
I will absolutely reread it because it's
so
just
good.
like, yes. And here's the thing. Sometimes we as I don't want to say dirty books because this isn't really the dirtiest of book, but we'll
No.
get there. Don't you guys worry. Um, this airs on the side of a dirty book club is that people think like it's silly reading. It's not. Some of these authors are brilliant. Some of the things that they equate things to, some of the life lessons I've learned through reading books is monumental. And Annabel Monaghan is one of those authors. And what a treat is it to listen to or to
Such a
read this and
treat.
then get to dissect it later on.
Well, and you get to step into these characters' shoes and live another
Mm.
life that you're not living. And so you're maybe able to see other points of view, grow your vision, all of it I just love. So, needless to say,
Does it happen?
they kiss, and it is earth-shattering. Why do I want to keep doing it like that? It's just, what do you do with it? You keep your little hands like that?
You go like that. I don't know. We'll search for our next episode. We'll find out the correct way to do it, y'all.
Okay, I like that. So they kiss, earth-shattering,
Mm.
and then Arthur gets home. They literally stop, and they're respecting, like, let's not touch each other, let's not do this. He runs upstairs. When they hear the water go off, Leo intertwines their hands as they're standing in the kitchen, and then that's it. He heads out to the tea house, and I love that it was respectable, and he wasn't just trying to say, hey, come to the tea house now, or hey, like it was a very sweet moment. They both went their separate ways, and she can't sleep, Avi.
I wouldn't be able to either. And that's a little bit of a red flag here that their kiss was so incredible. It just, that's every.
Why is that a red flag? Isn't this
No,
what
it
we
shouldn't
want?
be, but like when you're, I don't know, it's all just happening so
Girl.
fast.
Girl, it is.
Help me. Talk some sense into me. Help me relax. My vagal nerve is on fire right now because I'm like, I need to protect Nora. Sorry.
Everything seems perfect right now. I get that. And I get when you're reading a book and everything's going just perfectly, you're like, well, what's going to happen? It's a book, it's a story. But at the same time, I'm like, they're having like the best time. Let them live.
Do you get butterflies when they finally kiss in a
Yes.
book? Me too. It's like it's happening to me. I'm all
Yes.
fucking turnt
Yes.
walking around the house like, oh,
I'm
like it happened to me.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. And you know what, too? That's why I appreciate incredible writing and when I love the characters, because when they finally get together, I care so much more.
Mm.
Even with this book, it's doing the same thing that people we meet on vacation did to me, where it's all I'm thinking about. I just can't wait to get home and read. And it's really tough for us because we have to wait week by week. And I'm like, but I need to know what happens. And I find myself thinking of the characters when I'm out and about living life. And I'm like, this is crazy.
They're like our little friends.
Yes.
Like our little friends.
And I love it so, so much.
Me too.
But our friend Nora, she can't sleep and the sun starts rising. She heads outside to him and they don't discuss the kiss. He just kind of asks, hey, what's on the schedule? And we're like, oh God, I think this is the feeling that you're feeling of dread. Like, are you going to be weird? Are you going to be normal? And he didn't mention it. And she's hurt, understandably. And all of a sudden, he asks if Bernadette can get a ride to her soccer game. And Nora goes, why? And he goes, so we can be alone.
I know that's right, bitch. You better lay the pipe, Leo.
Yes, Leo. And I think he said, can we be together from, I think it was like 11 to 2. And they were just so excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, y'all got some time. So then we hop right into chapter 10.
Mm-hmm.
As Molly says, Nora is turnt.
Nora's turnt, duh.
It comes back down in a sundress. And Arthur clocks it.
Sorry about that. Arthur's like, you never wear shit like this. You always look like you guys are wearing t-shirt and jeans. And
what are
she's
you
like,
doing?
she handled it like a champ, though. She's like, I have laundry. I've got laundry. This is all I can wear. Which our kids are so much smarter than we give them credit for, but whatever.
They can feel her energy, her smiling, that little extra oomph. But the kiddos leave, and our little couple heads to the tea house, and they are both really nervous. And Leo says to her, you're a real person. Because Nora asks, like, why are you nervous? And I think for him, he's not used to that. He's used to so many different types. You know, he lives in LA. He can have whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to have any sort of meaning before having physical connection with someone. You know, it can just be a quick hookup. And with her, he knows a lot about her. He really likes her. So she's a real person. And then it happens. I will say the one thing is leading up to it, the author was just really getting me so excited with all of her
Nailed it.
descriptions, just so good. And then she was like, and then we're making love. And I was like, wait,
Yeah. No, well,
wait, go back.
we've been waiting for this. Give us some detail.
But you wrote, our author paints a beautiful picture of this in his raw state with his guard completely down. He is the same person who's been sitting on my porch, attentive, listening, staying for the whole story. I mean, come on.
I have goosebumps.
Come on.
What a beautiful way to explain two souls connecting in that way.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
And here's the scary thing about actors, about dating actors, and you can get a real version in a very vulnerable state because we can do it on camera. So we can do that with people we're interested in too. And
Oof, you know what you're doing.
Last for very long. But
Ooh.
or it might, who knows? But
Right.
there's, but I just love that she is getting this. I can't get over the listening to the whole story part.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Well, and then he says to her, I'll fix you. And Nora says that she loves, he thinks she's worth the trouble. Smash cut. His hand is now on the inside of her ankle and they go straight into making love. That was what I was talking about, the little detail, because I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Annabelle, what are you doing to me right now?
I know, you dog.
And then we find out too that Ben was just not in bed.
He's a selfish lover.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker, Ben.
Big
Of
shock.
course you were. And whenever she was with him intimately, she was always thinking about the plumber, but not in that manner. But she would be like looking over at the wall or see like the bathroom and go, oh God, I got to get the plumber out here. Like kind of going through the notes in her head.
Fully disassociated from this man who is inside of her. That is a bad sign. It is time
It's
to
not
go.
good. Pack it up, Nora. From there, Leo and Nora, they're living full on happy, sweet Delulu life.
Yeah, they're coupled up now.
And she said, though, she goes, I didn't know what sex was before Leo. And then we discover, too, because obviously they're connecting more and more. What happened to his mom?
She had lung cancer, which is a fucking jam of a bummer. I know. For anybody that doesn't know, my mom passed away from interstitial lung disease. So it wasn't lung cancer, but it was just as traumatic.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, that was a little bit close to home. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's like the number 3 killer in America. So,
God.
yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Well, so we discover that. And then what we learned, too, is that no one told him into the last minute because he was filming a movie, which that is diabolical to me.
Well,
And
it could be seen as diabolical. Yes. But you also, if you're handling something and somebody is off doing their dream, you think you're protecting them.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's what happened to me when I was on days, because it wasn't. My family was very transparent, but they were letting me live my life.
Yeah.
So I didn't get all the details. So I didn't fully.
That's interesting. You have a different POV because you actually were in it, living it. I feel like when I look at Leo at the point when this happened, he had been famous for so long. He had lived the high life for so long that going to film a movie was just another job. It wasn't like his first job, which I'm sure for you on days, it's so exciting. You're so young. There's so much happening and your family love and respect you. And we're like, hey, we want her to do her thing and not stress out. I can only imagine. But then I guess his family was saying that movie stars don't do hospice. And his brother is a lawyer and he knew and he was there the whole time. And I think for me, that's why it was so tough to read, because Leo would have loved to have been there.
Yeah.
He would have loved to have known about it. And I don't think he found out until like the day before.
It was
she
real
passed
last
away,
second,
maybe.
and that is a big fucking bummer. That's such a bummer, especially because they were obviously very close. If they're watching romance movies together, they are so close.
Then they talk about his life, obviously. He's sharing all this. They talk about hers. And he gives her a new smile, one she does not recognize. And she's like, what's this smile? And he goes, I'm happy. I am so happy that Ben left you. And I think he basically was saying, because now I get to be here with you. And she knows all his smiles, right? She knows them all. And this one is new. Then Penny texts her 10 times a day wanting to know all the deets. And are we not?
For our listeners, I said in our notes that me and Alyssa are Penny and Nora, because not Penny. Okay, no, it's Kate and Nora, who are besties, because we text each other all day, every day.
It's ridiculous. So much so that if we don't hear back, we're like, excuse me.
I sent Alyssa a voice note because I didn't really hear from her for the day. And I go, it's not a big deal, but I haven't really heard from you today, and I just want to make sure that you're okay. And I just want you to know that I'm a little bit butthurt. Molly.
Obsessed.
I have investment issues. It's fine.
No. I got you, girl. I'm right here.
Thank God.
This reminds me of a fucking crab, and I hate it because I want to go like that, and I don't know what this is.
Well, it also reminds me of Phoebe and Friends when she's like, he's her lobster. I know, but it's little. It's supposed to be little.
Oh, okay.
It's like the tiniest of class.
That note would have been nice an hour ago.
Sorry about that. It's coming back to me.
We're back to being at the school. Leo's directing, and she's helping out Nora with all the kids backstage. And Kate says that Nora's in love.
Of course. You can see it. It's radiating off of her.
Yes. And I die at how seriously Leo is taking being this co-director. I mean, it's life's mission.
He's taking this very seriously, and I love it. It's adorable. Like, could Leo live this life and be a little hometown, go from superstar to being a little hometown theater teacher? The answer is no, I'm sure. But what a beautiful dream.
Well, and he had said at one point, I don't think it's happened yet, but he was like, yeah, I'm only 40. Yeah. Why can't I live a whole nother life as a different person? And I go, what a beautiful idea. He's done this, and he is only 40. Imagine another 40 years. Why not be someone else if that's who you choose to be? So love that for him. Yeah. And he even made a little kid cry because he took his job so seriously, and then he felt really bad and apologized.
But that was really cool because he went straight to the parents and was like, hey, I think I went a little too hard on this little one. Like, his sense of standing up to his oopsies is fantastic. He holds himself accountable, and I love it. That's not the most common of quality in men, particular actor men.
Exactly. And
you don't have to hold yourself accountable. No one around you holds you accountable, so you don't have to hold yourself accountable. So that's a character thing that's in him that I'm obsessed with.
Yeah. It's giving that he wasn't a child star at all, that he found success later, maybe like early 30s, became the biggest superstar, because it seemed like he really was developed as a human.
My only issue with that is he didn't know how to go to a grocery store. So I just don't know, unless his mom did it for him and he...
That's true, too. All the little things. Can't forget all the details.
Yeah, that was my thought. But who knows?
So Nora, tucks her kids in at the end of the chapter, and she and Leo text until they fall asleep, which I'm still thinking is so precious. So,
because he's in the tea house, so they can't, so they just text while they fall.
She's up in the house with the kids, and he's in the tea house, and it's just so darling. So I'm loving where this is going, what I'm getting. I'm loving the author. She's just so brilliant. It's such a fun read.
I know.
Such a quick read, too.
Such an easy read. It's just I'm inhaling it. And it's like when you have to memorize lines for an audition, if it's easy to memorize, that's good writing. If it's hard to memorize, because the writing might not be as authentic.
Yes, absolutely.
And so when you're reading a book, if you're flying through it, it's because it's just really good writing.
Yeah, so that's exactly where we're at. And I am buying what she is selling.
Me too.
Nora, Annabel, all y'all. Like,
Leo, give it to
Leo,
us.
yes, give
we
it
are
to us.
stoked. We are stans. Leo is our new favorite book boyfriend. We are all about him.
Yes.
Give us more.
Give us more. And then next week, we are going to be covering chapters 11 through 15. And I feel like that's not enough.
What do you think's going to happen? I know I had to stop myself from reading. It was almost impossible. I thought about keeping reading and then just lying, and I can't do that.
No, same. What do I think is going to happen? Whew. I mean, obviously we need that page 70, like in a script, where things
we need
are
a big
about
conflict, right?
Yeah, something's got to happen. So I don't know. I wonder if she's ever going to go into his world at all because we've seen so much of hers. Is there going to be something like a trip
She is a
or
writer.
that too? I
Yeah,
just I'd be interested to see that. Maybe that's why I said that.
me too.
Maybe going back and seeing his world and things start happening that she doesn't like, or she sees who he is in
Mm.
that other world. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think?
You're right. Shoot. There's got to be a conflict. Or else this is just, which, to be honest, I wouldn't mind just reading their love story
Me
unfold.
too. I'm
Having
like
such a lovely time. But I know something. I have a bad. I hope. Let me end this with saying I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
I would love for them to drive off into the sunset, but they connected.
Way
He's
too quick. Do
ready
you think
to give
he'll
up his
cheat?
life.
Do you think that could happen? Because he's essentially her boyfriend at this point.
Yeah, they're calling each
There's
other boyfriend
yeah,
girlfriend.
yeah.
Yeah, she is my boyfriend.
Which is
Not
pretty
not
quick.
good after 2 weeks, by the way, guys. Boyfriend after 2 weeks, not a good sign.
This is like a therapy session.
Truly, truly. I've been texting
Like-
Alyssa like, I feel triggered. I need to double my therapy here.
Oh
So
my
I'm
God,
trying
I
not to
bet.
project my own BS
No.
onto the show. But
Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Again, chapter 11 through 15, we will be reading next week. Don't forget to follow along on social media at A Novel Bunch Podcast. We're having so much fun. We love you guys. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next time.